First, giving all praises to the Most High Yah. I
Okay.
appreciate this moment. My name is Yehoiakim Ben Israel, and I am honored to sit here with
Akotsi Bat Israel.
Coach Zikia Bat Israel. Conversation that we're about to have here, taking a journey back into our upbringing, our past. We both were born and raised outside of America. My grandfather, your father, made the journey, dared to make the journey up to Israel to defy gravity, to go back for our land, language, and culture. And we sit here today, me in my 30s, you.
40s.
You definitely don't look like it though.
Man,
But
Toraya.
again, we both here in Atlanta. I thank you for coming out
For inviting me.
and just going over a little. I call it history and destiny because they're tied together.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple questions for you, and we'll just see where it go from there.
I'm with it. Let's go.
All right, so my first time in Atlanta was in 2006. My Abba father, he was living here. He had remarried and moved out here in 2003, I think. And I struggled from like 2003 until I seen him again. But when I seen him again, I was kind of, at ease. And the first time I arrived here in Atlanta, here at the Soul Veg Complex, was in 2006. I remember being on Abernathy and, one of the roughest streets I've ever seen
It gets
in
worse.
my life. And, he walked us into the restaurant and showed us what's going on this side. That often happens when people come out here for the first time. What was your first time out in the States in America? Because you was born in Israel.
So, wow. So my first time coming out here, I did stop in New York because that's where my mother's family was from.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did stop there for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days even. And then my first time was in Georgia. My father brought us to Kennesaw. And so once we got off the plane, he first brought us here to Soul Veg so that we can see the communities, get some food, and then see people. So this was the first introduction of Georgia that was given to me. And from there, this has been my home. I was excited to see a lot of black people.
Yeah.
Coming from a place where you were the only people of color, you were the only, I'm going to say, we were Hebrew Israelites, and we were the only black people. And yes, I'm using the word black because I'm speaking in the language of that time.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was just us. So to come out here and see so many people that look like you.
Man.
So
I had
many
the
people
same
that,
feeling.
like,
I had the same feeling. I remember being on the train. As soon as you get off the plane, you get on the train. And it was me and two of my brothers. And it was this one guy that was overweight. And I told my younger brother, like, look, we're not in Israel. You can't just, because he was ready to laugh. And I'm like, I don't know.
yeah.
But getting out of the airport and seeing black people,
Yeah.
we were such a minority in Israel. Like, we were around so many Europeans. And so when we saw black people, we just felt at home. I know I felt at home.
Yeah, it did. It
Yeah.
felt like, first of all, you thought you knew them. You didn't even know the different dynamics of the different people that you were here. There was Muslims, like I've literally come in contact with Muslims, Jehovah's, Christians, and didn't really know it. I usually think that we was all the same.
Yeah.
But it was something about coming to the center, coming to the complex, coming to Soul Veg, that you saw yourself. Like everybody was in a culture. The place was booming. Like we really was out here saving lives. Like I never forget, and I brag about this regularly. On a weekend from like Friday after the children got out of school, which is Yom Shishi, to Sunday evening, the Wow M, which is the Youth on the Move, they took over this whole place. Wow. Every room, the youth was running it.
Wow.
And so that inspired me. Like this is my stomping ground. Like I say that all day. Like this right here, I'ma always come back home because they gave me life when I was in a place that, man, it was.
And then that's another thing, came out here the first time in 2006, but in 2014, I had finished the military. I took a course in culinary, try to up my baking skills. And then I turned that little bakery in our backyard to
I was one of your supporters.
to the best thing that I could do at that time. And we would sell out most of the time, like by noon. And I wanted to make more, but we were such a conscious vegan community. Well, nobody eating that much sweets.
They was eating them. My parents love sweets. You gotta know them. They love sugar. Like, sugar is it. Like, elders love, the older you get, you crave certain things. Your body be looking for things that you probably don't need or it's missing. So, yeah, sugar is where it's at. The elders like their sugar.
Nah, but I was driven. I wanted more. Like, I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted a Lamborghini. There was no Lamborghinis in Israel. Like, I had, well, they wasn't back then, though, because I checked. Before I came out here, I actually literally checked.
For real?
I checked what cities and all that kind of stuff. Atlanta's just one of the ones that I ended up coming to, mainly because there's family here. But there was something in me back then in 2014 that kind of pushed me out of Israel.
You had your 45-second vision?
I don't know if I... That's a good one.
I mean, because we having them, though. We just need that supporter to run us like your Saba did.
At that time, that's when I had the 45-second. I just needed a restart. You ever needed a restart? Like you had to push reset. So I just wanted a reset because in the summer, the kids are out of school and they were my biggest supporters for the bakery. And so I had to figure out those 2 months in the summertime. And it was around the summer when I made the decision, like, you know what, it's time to go. And I was like, the bakery is in me, so wherever I go, I can take the bakery, which was still difficult. I mean, yeah, you are a bakery, but you still need a rolling pin and a knife and a table in order to make it happen.
And then you took that away from I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because...
You're probably going to make me cry. I can't cry on camera.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do because I was there at that time that you started your bakery, and I was so happy. And so I would order all of my cakes for everybody's birthday from you. And so it's almost like you came and you started this project. And like you said, I was looking for a restart. And as you looked for that restart, like you didn't even think about the children or anybody else who was looking for you and who was waiting for you and who needed that bakery that see, you didn't even give the history. I remember your grandmother and your grandfather. I remember them hot pito. I remember next door the cheese from Macavio where we would go and get that to put in that hot pita. I remember the date rolls. I remember the donuts that your grandparents used to make so that we can have that, so that we didn't have to go out to the store and buy food from those Europeans because we didn't trust what they had in them.
Right.
And so you came and you came as if like, I'm going to bring that back. And then you gave us a little, and then it was like, okay, I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to revive it. And then it was like, man, I got to figure out what I'm going to do for me. Right. And then so when you walked away, it literally left what your grandparents created and left for you, your inheritance. It was like no one is there to run that.
And it's still like a desolate till today. Like when I went back, we did a video, me and my wife, because she wanted to show, our supporters and customers out here where it started. It's a hole in the roof. The equipment that like nobody cares.
But who
like
was supposed to care?
Like who was supposed to care? Who was supposed to keep it up? You're right. And it hurt. Like when you just said that stung. I'm like, because the kids, they made me. The kids at that school, you couldn't bring them. Oshria, you was a kid at that school back then. When I used to bring hot date rolls and croissants and stuff. And they wouldn't play with you. They wouldn't play with you. That like kids will tell you the truth. Don't bring me no crap.
And
so they made me children.
Yeah.
Children.
I mean, I'm here to just like let's change our way so that we can bring the power back to
you. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, come on.
I'm here. I'm here for you.
No problem. But they made me because sometimes in business you're taking shortcuts. Mm-hmm. You're trying to not throw nothing away, so you try again and again. But nah, they gave me like out here. I had a Hebrew Bake standard, but they made that standard. I always go back to the days where my mother, you talking about a backstory. We about to go deep.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
My mother had a stroke. And usually when something happens to my mother, it's like protocol in the family. We have one of us goes with her to the hospital. The other one is because it's me and another brother that the oldest, and then we kind of manage the family and manage her situation, and nobody knows what's going on. And when that happened that time, I didn't know how to cover what she made, which was the pizza rolls back then. Oh, man, she makes the best pizza rolls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got friends off of date rolls and pizza rolls.
Man, go give me some.
And so I tried to just step in and make the stuff while my brother was at the hospital with her. And I couldn't make them. Like, those were war rolls. That's what I call them.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just mixing up some stuff. Man, the bakery went down. And it went down to just about nothing. We were suffering. Now, my mother's in the hospital. Over the next 24 hours, I seen my mother go from walking and talking to not being able to walk or talk. She had a stroke. And again, she don't want us to tell nobody. I can't even share this with my own grandmother. So some people ask me, like, what was the hardest time of your life? I think that Soul Veg is about to give me a run for my money because that's still to this day, and I was only 19 at that time, but that was the hardest time of my life. And that's where that baker, that great guy that you said went and learned all that stuff, that's where he came from. I went from not knowing how to make cheese
So now you
to what?
baking cakes and sending them.
I mean,
everywhere.
I'm baking stuff. I went and learned stuff that we didn't even have in the bakery.
That was your calling. Like your grandparents. Like I'm gonna go back. So your grandparents was making these pizza. They was making this cheese. They was. What did we know? We didn't even know about pizza. We didn't know nothing about pizza. Well, I know my generation. I did.
Not like that. We had deep dish pizza. Again, I can tell you about the cakes. Our cakes were like the most boring cakes. Remember we had the little taquina cakes?
Man, and to this day, everybody looking for them.
They wasn't beautiful
But they
and
taste
nice
good.
and
taste
shapes.
good.
Because I'm an artist in my heart. Like in my soul, I'm an artist. And when you're an artist, you want to beautify stuff. You want to bring a new version of something. So I didn't like cake just being in the oven pan the way that it was.
And
back
that's
when
what
were
we were
kids.
simple.
And not only that, people got whooped. People would get their behinds beat and get put on punishment for eating cake or croissant.
That
So
wasn't
like-
made from us.
I'm like, why can't we just make our own stuff?
So you see, you did it, and then you took it with
And
you.
then I took it with
and
me.
then now we're buying bread and we're buying croissants and we're eating out of regular stores as if we don't even care what they put in it.
Wow.
So like we have to realize, okay, so you brought up Soul Veg, and I'm just gonna dovetail a little while for Soul Veg because you said you about the
I said Soul Veg will be the one that probably give me a run for my money.
it's definitely gonna give you a run for your money, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's gonna give you a run for your money because you don't even have the history on it. You don't even know what it was.
I don't even know what I'm getting myself into.
You don't even know what this place has done, how many lives it has
Man.
saved, how many lives it has lost.
Wow.
So when you say a run for your money, you have this vision, like you did. See, in Israel, you had a vision based on what your grandparents have done. And you weren't even able to uphold that. So to come to a place where you don't even know what it was to even
Right.
revive the life of it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to give you a run for your money. But if you look at the people that's around you, if you take the knowledge of the people that surround you, you're going to be a part of something. The foundation that we're all created on, you're going to reach that height because you're going to take everything that you didn't know, and then you're going to allow those people to help you to make it what it's supposed to be. Because this place is an institution. It's not a restaurant. And so if we remind ourselves that this is an institution and we're building on this institution, that's when the beauty, that's when the blessings, that's when you're going to see it do what it's supposed to do.
You know what the word for institution is in Hebrew?
Tagid,
Yesod, Mossad.
Ajala.
Right. And from that, which is a foundation, it's like a building is built on a solid foundation. If it's not a solid foundation, every time you try to build another level,
And you have to use that foundation to build. You can't take a foundation and say, I'm going to build whatever I want to build on it.
Right.
You have to build on that foundation. You have to build on that foundation with the foundation.
Yeah.
Because if not, that
You
place
have to
is
know
going
the
to
foundation in order to build.
learn the foundation, embrace the foundation.
What you're saying is true, because I hate to say this, but it got to be said.
Man said.
The previous chef that came in here to turn this thing around didn't understand the foundation.
He didn't.
And the place spit him out.
Literally. And it'll do you
and
the
again,
same
I don't
way.
know him like that, but that's what was said.
No, but listen, it would do us the same way if we come with our Israel mindset.
Yeah.
If we come with the Israel mindset that we carry, like we the ones, and we got this, and we've been given everything, and everybody needs to follow us because we're the chosen.
Right.
But we haven't chose to be chosen, but we are the chosen.
We haven't chose to be chosen. Speak.
So we would definitely lose if we don't choose this
Right.
in a way that it was like we come from an idea. And the only way we're going to be great in this world is through that idea. Mm-hmm. I don't care where you go in this world. I don't care what you do. If you don't do it through this idea, it's going to fail.
That's true.
Don't halfway do nothing.
You can't.
You can't.
And you can't follow no one else's idea to do it.
If I came to open up a Starbucks or whatever that is, it won't work for us.
It won't.
Because it's not ours. It's not inside of you.
Yeah,
you can
like-
only pull out what's inside. Like a date roll is inside of us because it was an idea. We didn't know what those enemies of ours, these are the same people who poisoned Ethiopians when they came to the country. We don't know what they put in our food. So when my father went to a bakery and learned some skills and brought it back and turned that back porch. Y'all remember the back porch?
Listen, we know where it came before it was a bakery, where it came from.
He don't know there was a tree there. You remember the tree?
I
that was
remember the
behind
tree because we
before
used to
they
climb
moved
through
it?
that tree.
Right,
We used to
climb
steal
on
that food out of Child Bakery. We did.
There was a tree
when
there.
they closed.
Nasika kids there, and my Abba built that bakery. I remember it, man.
Around that tree.
I remember it. Mm-hmm. And again, like they said, train up a child in the way he go. At 4 o'clock in the morning, when we moved out the Kafar, I was like 6 or 7 when we moved out the Kafar. But I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning with my Abba and go to the bakery. Guess what I'm doing right now? Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I got my son with me sometimes. It's so beautiful to hear that, a word of wisdom or parable, train up a child in the way that he should go. And I was just, when I was doing the bakery before, we closed it, I thought about that. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm walking up to the building. I'm like, man, I used to do this as a kid, as a child, with my father.
I think the beauty of you being able to do it here, it's really you going back to the beginning.
That's it.
It may not be your beginning, but it's a beginning. Mm-hmm. And for you to be able to come out here and have the plethora of opportunity to be able to do it with blessings, with people giving you their blessing to be able to go off and do what it is that you need to do, it's going to create a ripple effect that's going to bring that bakery back because that bakery is needed. Right. And so in order for us to bring it back, with the work that you're doing, the steps that you're taking right now is what's going to bring that place back.
When you say that bakery is needed, man, sometimes you literally run from your gift, right? Like when I had to close the bakery just now, I was burned out, right? I had life and death situation that happened to me. I didn't want to tell nobody. I didn't want nobody to feel sorry for me. And I ran.
That's the easiest.
I ran. I needed some time off. I ain't just run. Like I couldn't go no more. I was at the end of my rope. I needed a break. And I also never seen myself having kids and raising kids in America. So that was a big, for me, it was a contradiction because it's like, man, my grandfather and grandmother fought so that we wouldn't be here. Like, I don't want to have my kids here. But lo and behold, man, the spirit is much more powerful and bigger than you are.